visit the wonderful world of Dada. We had done a project a little while back called The Muse of Chance with Hans Arp. And now we're going to learn a little bit about Meret Oppenheim and the type of art she created. Oppenheim was a German Swiss artist, and her most famous art is a cup, saucer, and spoon lined with fur, which is named the luncheon in fur. So this is a great example of Dadaist artwork. It's simple, it's amusing, and it's absurd. Materials used in creating a Dadaist object are anything you can find. So our project today is called the Wacky Work of Dada. The idea is to collect ordinary things that you can find. It could be something like little special pieces of junk or just anything, broken toys or anything that you can find. And you have to decide, how can I make it opposite in its natural use? For example, I created a paper bag flower pot, which we don't normally use paper bags for flower pots. And out of the flower pot are a spoon, a knife, and a fork sprouting out like flowers. So it's unusual and it's outside the box. It's something that you wouldn't see in real life. And that's what you want to do. You want to create something that may resemble something real, but using something that you wouldn't think you would see. So here we have a Tin Man sculpture. And I just used ordinary objects, woolly hair and twine wrapped around to make his head, and bolts for eyes, and the tin can body and cork legs. And then I found a little piece of wood block that I painted for his little pedestal. So these are just some ideas that you can do for your either a sculpture or some type of other artwork. I'm going to show you a couple other examples in a few minutes. So the one thing that you have to do though, after you finish your sculpture, you need to name it. So this one here is called the Flowering Paper Bag Pot. And the other one is the Twiny Tin Man. So you gotta remember, after your sculpture, you need to come up with a name, okay? So this is Meret Oppenheim. This is the luncheon with fur, the cup, the saucer, and the spoon lined with fur. And then I have a couple of other examples of student artwork. This one was with found objects, the pipe cleaners. It's caps and suction cups and googly eyes, and an old compact disc on top of a block to make it look like a bug head. And then over here is a collage. So here's a sculpture and here's a collage. And maybe I'll move this over a little bit so you can see better. And here we have buttons for hair, little wrapped up pieces of cloth for eyebrows, burlap skin, an old pair of eyeglasses with button eyes, an old bracelet for a mouth, a shell for a nose. Okay, so those are a couple of ideas. And these I thought were very original. This is very much like Dada work. Here are two bananas made to look like shoes. So the skins were perforated and laced up with shoelaces to make them look like shoes. So here's a great example of something that a banana is not used for. It is opposite its natural use. And over here we have two orange slices that resemble human lungs. And they're laid on a piece of paper, and then the student drew in the windpipe and the trachea coming up. So those are two unique ways of doing it. So you have objects with a drawing, you have an object that's being laced. This is kind of almost like a sculpture. And then you have the collage, which is the other one, and then the bug head, which is a sculpture as well. So those are just some ideas that to give you some kind of reference to go by. But what I find is once you have collected materials, and here's a bunch of materials, and there's so many different things that you can use, but here's pieces of yarn, twine, wood, rocks. You could use fruit, anything from nature, cardboard tubes, craft sticks or popsicle sticks, toothpicks, corks, old crayons, old unmatched silverware, paintbrushes, tin can. I mean, the amount of materials that you can come up with is endless. You can use cardboard boxes, whatever you find. And then when you do that, you really want to put everything out in front of you and think about what is it that you can do with this. Look at the objects. What is it normally used for, and what can I create with it that it's not used for? So once you start working, you may have something in your mind, and then as you're putting it together, you realize, you know what, it doesn't work. And this is coming together a little differently than I thought. And then it comes out to be something completely different. Just go with your instinct of creativity and think outside the box. Okay? So once you have your wacky idea in mind, you can begin assembling and attaching the items. And sometimes you may need, you can use, some of the older kids can use super glue or hot glue. You can use Elmer's glue. Sometimes if you're using anything with wood, you might need to use a hammer and nails. Masking tape, duct tape, anything that would help assemble whatever you're working with. So again, the idea may develop as it progresses according to the art supplies on hand. And then once you have it assembled and you've glued things, let it dry. Then you can think of your name and put a little name card when you take your picture of your sculpture or collage. And basically just have fun with it. There's all kinds of things that you can do and be creative. If you want, you can Google search some ideas, look up Dada art for kids and get some ideas, because this is a hard one. Sometimes you have materials in front of you and it's just not coming to your head what you can do with it. But try a couple of different ones and do it a little bit different ways and take things apart and put them back together again until you get what you want. So explore the world of Dadaists by creating your own wacky work of Dada. And I can't wait to see your projects. Thank you, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.